Hello, this is Richa. Welcome to the fourth episode of our journey to the world of Proverbs. In the last episode, I mulled over the Proverbs from Kashmir, the picturesque landscape of the Himalayas. Today, we will explore the beautiful state of Uttarakhand that lies on the southern slopes of the Himalayas, beyond which, and separated by the snowy range, lies Tibet. This mountainous region consists of an intricate maze of mountains and glens with several rivers and streams, all tributaries directly or indirectly to the Ganga River. Towards the south, the higher ranges of hills descend to a narrow stretch of low broken country called the Bhabar, and then by a gradual slope towards the great plain of Upper India called the Terai. Uttarakhand comprises the regions of Kumaon in the east and Garhwal in the west. Kumaon, also known as Kurmanchal, was ruled by the Katyuri dynasty in the medieval period. Its disintegration led to the formation of 8 different principalities until a dynasty was founded in the 10th century AD by Somchand, said to be a scion of a royal family of Jhansi. The Chand dynasty ruled till about late 18th century when the Gorkhas of Nepal invaded the region and established their rule in Kumaon. For Garhwal, it is said that a king named Kanakpal conquered the region in the 7th century AD, and his successors ruled over the kingdom of Garhwal till the Gorkha invasions. In 1815, the British annexed both Kumaon and Garhwal and brought them together as a chief commissionership on the non-regulation system, also known as the Kumaon province. Eventually, it was incorporated into the United Provinces of Agra and Awadh, with the beautiful town of Nainital as the summer capital of the British provincial government. While looking for the proverbs of Kumaon and Garhwal, I came across a very interesting book called Proverbs and Folklore of Kumaon and Garhwal, written by Pandit Ganga Dutt Upreti, a retired native official who had served under the British as a deputy collector. Written in 1894, this book has an introduction by E.S. Oakley, the then principal of Ramsay College, Almora. The proverbs in this collection speak of the beliefs, traditions, customs, wisdom, and sometimes prejudices of the people living in this region. E.S. Oakley, in his book called Holy Himalaya, published in 1905, spoke of the traditional rivalry between the two neighboring regions of Kumaon and Garhwal. The sub-regional identities that is reflected even now in several ways is evident in these proverbs from the region. Food and drink is left in Garhwal, but beautiful scenery in Kumaon. This is a Garhwali proverb, meaning that Garhwalis in Kumaon cannot get as good food and water as when at home. Or another Garhwali proverb: natives of Kumaon earn for themselves, but are miserly to others. This proverb shows how the Garhwalis looked upon the people of Kumaon, who are allegedly very keen in business but are also very clannish. Another Garhwali proverb points towards the alleged injustices of the Kumaon native official in Garhwal. One looks towards Kumaon but turns his back towards Garhwal. The Kumaonis in turn ridiculed the Garhwalis towards their claims to have descended from the Rajas. Sample this proverb: Damdi ko rao, tippani ko rao. That is, one who has a damdi or a copper coin is called a man of wealth, and one who owns the top of a hill is called rao or raja. According to E.S. Oakley, Before the conquest of Garhwal by Kanakpal, the region was portioned out between petty rulers called Thakuri Rajas. Each of them would seize a mountain peak and build his fortress on it, tyrannizing nearby villages. This proverb is a comment on the anarchy of ancient Garhwal. Despite such sub-regional identities, it must be mentioned here that the geographical and cultural proximity of these two regions was strengthened by the Uttarakhand movement for statehood in the 1990s. The people of Uttarakhand sustained themselves through agriculture using the terrace farming method, growing crops such as rice, wheat, millet, maize, pulses. For the farmers, the focus is on collective labor of the family. Sample this proverb. Tu Rani, main Rani, ko koot Cheena Dani. You are a queen, I am a queen, but who will husk the millet? This was applied to members of one's family to induce them to work, else the family would be ruined. Again, Nana ki baan, Thula ki dhaan, meaning the young ought to accustom themselves to habits of industry so that when they grow up, they may know how to work. There are proverbs that use agricultural terms to reflect deep wisdom. Adhi kheti pati, adhi jat pati, meaning cultivation of the fields is only half the farmer's work, for he must also watch over his crops, implying that industry must be accompanied by care and thoughtfulness. Or there is another one, Dharm ki jad hari, meaning the root of virtue is perennial. The forested region of Uttarakhand is known for being the habitat for leopards, and during the colonial rule, hunting them was a great adventure sport for the British. Kumaon is also known for the legendary British hunter Jim Corbett, who killed the man-eating leopards and tigers to protect the villagers of Kumaon and Garhwal. The leopard figures in many of the proverbs of this region. A bigger cow assaults a smaller one, and a leopard assaults the bigger cow. This proverb was used to threaten with divine vengeance those who oppressed their inferiors. There is another one. The leopard carried off the calf in the month of Magh, that is January, and in Fagun, that is February, they put the doors on the cowshed. This implies belated or inopportune action. This is similar to the English proverb, locking the stable after the horse has been stolen. And the most telling of all proverbs, the dog came barking, but the leopard came silently, meaning one who rebukes or reprimands does not wish to injure, but one who is intent to injure does so secretly. Uttarakhand is also known for its wild fruits. Adu Bedu Ghingaru is the proverb in which these wild fruits represent ignorant people who are not to be trusted with any responsible work. Kumaon and Garhwal are well integrated with the surrounding regions, especially with respect to economy. Here is an interesting proverb. A Banjara looks always towards Tanda, meaning an individual always longs to be back home. The Banjaras were grain dealers from the plains who took grain to sell in the hills. The Banjaras of Tanda, a village on the road to Muradabad, were grain dealers for the hills people, but they loved to get back to their own homes. There is also an interesting reflection on the cultural artifacts of the people living in this region. My own nose ring sneers at me. This proverb was applied by a mother to her own daughter when she became proud. There is also a comment on people who try to make the most of the moment or those who make a virtue of necessity. One slipped into water and called out, Har Ganga. Har Ganga is a religious phrase that Hindus use when they take a holy dip in the river Ganga. The story goes that a man who had no mind to bathe accidentally fell into the water. He at once took the opportunity of performing a religious act. It is important to point out that in Ganga Dutt Upreti's book, I came across proverbs that speak of deep-set prejudices as are prevalent in all cultures around the world. For example, all black people belong to one caste, meaning all who have evil designs in concert with each other remain in unity among themselves. The references to quote-unquote black people and caste were deeply disturbing, and this aspect of prejudices reflected in Proverbs, I feel, requires a more intense and necessary engagement. For now, I must conclude with the hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode. Keep coming back for more as I explore the world of Proverbs every Friday at Gulp Lok. Meanwhile, here is a beautiful proverb which is also a hill song that speaks of optimism and hope. Bees after Ma, that is January, cows after Fagun, that is February, and monkeys after Chaith, that is March, enjoy fruits very well. Meaning, bees are hard up for food for want of flowers in January, cows in February for want of grass, monkeys in March for want of fruits. After this period of scarcity, however, each has plenty to eat and is happy and content. Thank you.